Hey guys, and welcome to Hack and Slash. This is a game mostly about hacking, well, sort of anyway. We'll get into it more as it goes on. It's sort of set in the style of an adventure game, but in fact it is a puzzle game. If you want to pick this game up, you can get it on Steam now. Just type in Hack and Slash, or you can get it from DoubleFineProductions.com. Actually, it's just DoubleFine.com if I recall correctly. Anyway, yeah. Let's get us started here. We'll choose Alice as our character's name, and we get right into Act 2. So this is a walkthrough of the full game. This was released on Early Access on Steam, but at this time, of course, it is complete. And yeah, I will be covering everything from the very beginning to the final boss, so just be aware of that. If you want to buy this game for yourself, I recommend that you go out and do so now, because I will be spoiling the solutions to all of the puzzles throughout the game. Of course, some of them have multiple solutions, so it could still be interesting to try and find those, but those alternatives. But yeah, you really don't want to spoil the puzzles for yourself, because once again, this is a puzzle game, so that's sort of the appeal. So yeah, this is kind of the main mechanic of the game here. We're gonna pick up this sword using the E key. Oh, and I'm not really going to be reading the text or anything. If I'm going too fast on it, let me know, and I'll try and slow it down a bit. Anyway, yeah, we just swing it against the bars at the bottom just by pressing space, and it breaks, and we get the USB stick. So, the USB stick can go into anything that looks like a USB receptacle, such as this door. We can change the variables to do cool and interesting things, like open the door. And that's the basic premise for puzzle solving throughout the game. Yeah, it gets, at least in the early part, it gets much more interesting in the late game, but we'll get into that when we get to it. Okay, so I'm going to give this a negative value, like negative 25, and we'll just open it up, and sure enough, we get our sprite. Alright. So, yeah, the red sprite is kind of our sidekick throughout the game. This guy here, his name is Christo. He also has a sprite. And he is the villain in the game. A lot of the dialogue is kind of interesting. It's a, you know, I wouldn't say that it's like the funniest thing I've ever read or anything, but it's quite good. It's nice for a little chuckle, and it sort of sets the atmosphere of the game, very friendly and sort of lighthearted. All right, so music starts up. So once again, just a block puzzle. We change the number of pushes to whatever, and the number of tiles per push. We bring that up. And we can just push the block. Alright, so this is an enemy. He will damage me, but I can change the amount of damage he does to a negative value, and it will actually heal me if he hits me with a negative value. Alright, let's see if I can demonstrate that here. So yeah, that sound that you're hearing, that's him healing me. So we're going to walk up here and get the first artifact of the game. And this is going to make dying pretty much impossible once we get to use it correctly. So set it to a negative value, just like we've done before. Bring this out here. Yeah, there we go. Open up the chest, and we get an artifact. So this artifact actually sets a global variable somewhere in the game. This guy's annoying me. Called Queen Sprite Gave Hearts. And we'll see how that works in a minute. Basically, there's some trigger in the game that sets that value to true. And we want it to be false. So this allows us to set it back to false. I'll show you why that's useful in a minute. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go to the sprite clearing, and this is where we're going to get our time traveling device. So, false, false. Oh, I should just, yeah, that's fine. Alright, and this rock has eyes. We're gonna ask him to move. Do. Alright. So that's how that goes. All I did is, told the crow to stop attacking him, and sure enough, that was the solution to the problem. This guy here, I'm just gonna set his health to 0, and he'll die. Okay, remaining pushes. Bring this up, bring this up. Same thing we just done. It gets much more interesting than this, I assure you. But yeah, anyway, this game was developed during an Amnesia Fortnite event. I believe it was 2012 one. And the whole thing is documented by 2Player Productions, so if you haven't watched it, you definitely should. It's pretty cool to see how like the whole game development process works and so on. Yeah, overall it's just kind of fun. So yeah, they're basically giving us a quest here, and they give us this amulet as well, which allows us to go back in time. So yeah, basically the reason we want to go back in time is because if we mess up the world, we can revert to an earlier state. So if we cause the game to crash, which happens occasionally, not like a hard crash, but like sort of a soft crash, I guess. So yeah, this chest is empty, but I figured I'd show it off anyway. You can have the turtles blow up the rocks, which is, oops, -4, that should be, whatever. And in here we get a heart container, basically. It gives us 3 extra hearts. Yeah. What was I even talking about before? I don't know. But yeah. So yeah. Okay, so this is the queen sprite down here. And as you can see, she gives some hearts. If we talk to her again though, she says, oh, don't be greedy. What we can do is we can trick her by setting the queen sprite gave hearts thing to false. And then we can go and say, oh, hey, yeah. And she'll just give us more and more forever. Now, I'm not going to sit here and do this. You can do it as long as you need to, but I'm telling you, if you have even 16 hearts, that's more than enough. You're never going to need any more than that throughout the game. It's a puzzle game, not an action-adventure game. Okay, so our sprite here is scaring the turtles away. I'll show you what that means. If we increase the volume, you can see that they start losing the path. So I'm going to turn the volume off. And what happens is the sprite actually flies to this stump, and the turtles will go away, and you'll drop into the water, and, you know, you'll respawn back on the shore. So yeah, to complete the puzzle, we have to turn the volume down to 0. This is just a block pushing puzzle, once again, nothing too tricky about it. Alright, and we're coming up on the first real puzzle of the game. It's up here. So, we go in this house, and we move this, oops. And we get a thing called password. It's just a note. And it says stop writing the password down, writing down the password to the vats, and so on. So we can see there's a W and a D and an S. So what we can do is we can come up here to this rock, and it says password. So we know there's a W, and what we notice immediately is that the eyes light up green whenever we put in a right word. So I already know what the password is. It's Wizard Rules. And yeah, the sprites assigned us this quest. Basically, they wanted us to clean up the corruption in the lake here. So we'll just set the heal amount up to a positive value. And now we get a cutscene with Christo. And we hear a roar. And that's the first boss of the game. Yay, an adventure. Okay. So yeah, we're almost done with the first act here. Or should I say the second act, because we start off in Act 2. So yeah, same puzzle again, just in reverse. Set that down to a 0. I like how even the mouth on the sprite looks like a USB port. It's pretty hilarious. Okay. Now we're gonna run up here. Bring this up here. And there's gonna be an array attached to these turtles here. Or actually here, called spawn behavior, and we can set their behavior by doing this. So what we want them to do is move all the way across across the pond there, and burrow kind of like gets them to disappear. So we're gonna get out on the gonna get out on this guy, stand on his back. Oh no, he was too far away. 0 seconds between spawns. Spawn rate up to 2. Oh, come on. Really? There we go. Come on. There we go. Yeah. You can just walk onto them. I've done this like a million times before. Oh, and the reason that... The reason that we even need to do this in the... There we go. Of course. There we go. Oh, are you kidding me? Usually this is nice and easy. Anyway, I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Okay, there we go. This is what I want. Now we got like all the turtles in the world over here. Whatever, I don't care. Okay, so this is the Swamp King. He's a boss. Alright. So, he corrupts the turtles. Cool. Now, faction, good. And I want him to do a heck of a lot more damage than that. Thousands and thousands of damage. I want to have much more health than that too. Okay, this is going to be the guy who destroys the Swamp King for us. He's going the wrong way, come on. I should have set his idle behavior. Whatever. Charge distance. Let's bring this way up so that he can always see the Swamp King. There we go. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Whatever. Alright. Come on, you stupid turtle. Come on, just attack me already. I'll take it. Okay, faction, good. Charge distance. Reception distance. Health. Damage. There we go. So now, we're gonna bring the corruption way down. Okay. And that's the end of Act 2. Text. Yeah. So, excuse me. Alright. So now he's put us into jail. He says, I just spent 30 seconds undoing all the stuff that you've done. And we say, oh, well, I'll spend 15 just doing it all over again. Okay. So we rest in the bed here. This is the next bit. And we wake up. And there's someone mysterious talking to us. They ask us to whisper. We get out of the bed. Come over. We talk to them some more. They're like, oh, basically, he says that, you know, he's a master of barriers. Okay, now we lose the hat, which is actually important for a feature later. Alright, so we're like, oh yeah, I made a dummy to fool them. He's like, okay, I'll let you bypass the barrier now so that you can leave. Like, okay, so yeah, we'll just come on over here and talk to him a bit, and yep, sure enough, there we go. Now we're talking to him, he's like, oh, hey, this is my cell, welcome, thanks. So now he gives us the hat, and we can see him and all sorts of hidden information in the game. And, yeah, we can talk to him and say all sorts of stuff. He gives us 2 pieces of information. He says, oops. He says, the warden has a thing for names, which is a hint. He, like, remembers the names of all the prisoners who he has to keep an eye on. And he says as well, when you get out of here, go to the Infinite Forest. So that's what we're gonna do. Gotta love the music in this game too. I mean, you know, it's pretty good. Yep, okay, Act 3. which we escape a dungeon. Oh, there's more. Inside a larger dungeon. Okay, yeah, so we can actually see, this is actually like the debug information for the game. So we can see like the hitboxes, we can see the detection radiuses, and we can see the trigger lines. So I just stepped over a trigger line, and it triggered that text. So the first thing we're going to do is come up here. This will trigger those two guards talking. Alright. So this is another puzzle. We only want to push down the ones with the glyphs. And this is going to make a treasure chest appear with a very useful artifact in it. And this is the time artifact. So with this we can either really speed time up, or we can really slow it down. And this speeds up everything. Still got hit by the fire. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Can I make it down here now? I don't think so. I'll come back later and get that. What's down there is actually really good. Alright, so let's get another sword. Yeah, even the music is sped up. Alright, let's get yet another item. I'm gonna set the time distortion back to normal. Oops. Useful if we actually equip the sword. So this is the boomerang. We can ricochet this off of these, off of certain surfaces here. Yeah. And we can sort of access things from a distance. This is the glyph room. This is what's going to allow us to translate all the glyphs. There we go. So we move this over, and we see over here something that's all scrambled. Change the offset to 0, and the offset to 0. And you can see the 5 boxing wizards jump quickly. That uses every character in the English language. And as you can see, we can map that over to here. The way we do that is we just change the offset, come back over, and we press E on this thing. So now we can read the glyphs. And you can see, sure enough, we can see all the glyphs in the debug information. We can read them as English text, which is good. Very helpful. Alright. Alright, let's speed things up a bit. Oops, wrong way. Okay, I'm gonna have to slow things down a tiny bit. Doesn't matter, we got a whole bunch of life. Oops. See if I can get it with it right. Yep. I should have just done that with... Anyway, doesn't matter. So we're gonna get a really good item now in a second. Just delete everything there. And sure enough, there's a chest down here. And this sets the player is hackable variable, if I recall correctly. Or Boomerang's hack thrower, that's right. So, we can set this to... it doesn't really matter. True. So now, you'll notice I have a USB port in the back of my head, so now I can get hacked, set my faction differently, and I can change my move speed. So I'm going to pretty much double it. And this, in my opinion, is the best item in the game, for that reason. If I want, I could also set my faction to bad, and it would make it so that these guys don't bother hitting me. I'm gonna recover some of that HP real quick. Just come straight in here. Move, speed 4, 16 tiles. Okay, so once again we just want to change the offset to 0 on each of these for this puzzle. There. So yeah, there is a bit of waiting in this. Alright. Do. Oops. Overshot it just a tiny bit. Oh no, I fell. Whoops. Oh, we're gonna have to call it an episode pretty soon here. Oh. Right after this, I would say. Yeah, this is absolutely riveting. I've always said that this game was one of the most exciting that ever did exist. Oh, that should have caught that, shouldn't it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we do this, bring that back to 0, fall off intentionally, and now we're back here. Now we want to wait for all these openings to line up now. So, should just take a second there. I could speed this up, but there's really no point. It's almost there. And that should do the trick. Set the offset on this down to 0. It'll work if it's a little higher than 0, but we might as well just go all the way. Alright. Alright. So, this room has a chest in it. And in this chest is one of my favorite items in the game. But we're going to have to call it an episode right there. Sorry, guys. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.